Good evening. It's April the 21st. Welcome to the 7 p.m. Board of Town Commissioners meeting here in Town Hall. I'm going to call the roll, and Commissioner Rutledge,
Here.
Commissioner Taylor,
Here.
Commissioner Chance,
Here.
and we did know that Commissioner Chismar could not be here this evening. So if you all stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. May I have a motion to approve the agenda this evening?
Yes, Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve this evening's agenda of April 21st, 2025, 7 o'clock here at the Bel Air Town Hall.
Thank you, Commissioner Chance. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion of the agenda this evening? All right, Mr. Krantz?
Thank you, Madam Chair. For approval of this evening's agenda, Commissioner Rutledge,
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor,
Aye.
Commissioner Chance,
Aye.
and Chair Edding.
Aye.
Tonight's agenda is approved. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have the approval of the minutes. May I have a motion?
Yes, Madam Chair, I move that the minutes of the Board of Commissioners meetings held on April 1st, April 7th, and April 9th, 2025 be approved as submitted.
Thank you, Commissioner Taylor. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Rutledge. Any discussion of the minutes? No? Mr. Krantz?
Thank you, Madam Chair. For approval of the minutes, April 1st, 7th, and 9th, Commissioner Rutledge,
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor,
Aye.
Commissioner Chance,
Aye.
and Chair Edding.
Aye.
Minutes are approved. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Now for our most interesting, perhaps, thing of this evening on the agenda is the presentation to the Bel Air Police Department for the promotion of Jessica Carpenter to Officer First Class. All right, looks like we're, okay, looks like this is on. Yes? All right, great. So we're here this evening to celebrate Officer First Class Jessica Carpenter, known as Jess. She began her career with the Bel Air Police Department in October of 2017 after being hired as a full-time police communications operator, PCO, or, the dispatchers, as it's sometimes called. During her tenure in dispatch, Jess developed a reputation of being a dedicated worker who was trusted and respected by her peers and supervisors alike. Jess resigned from the Bel Air Police Department in December 2021 to pursue a career with the Baltimore County Police Department, ultimately entering their academy and graduating in the top of her class in June of 2022. In April of 2023, the stars aligned and fate brought Jess back to the Bel Air Police Department, where she was hired as a police officer assigned to the Patrol Division. Throughout her tenure in the Patrol Division, Jess has consistently demonstrated strong leadership, sound judgment, and a deep commitment to public safety. Her thoroughness in handling complex cases and her ability to remain calm under pressure have garnered the respect of both her peers and supervisors. Jess thrives in a team environment, and her attention to detail, coupled with her strong work ethic, has led to successful case resolutions, particularly in instances requiring detailed follow-up investigations. Jess has excelled in criminal investigations, becoming the agency liaison to the Harford County Child Advocacy Center, where she was selected to attend the National Symposium on Child Abuse by the leadership of the Harford County Child Advocacy Center. As set forth above, and in addition to her patrol duties, Jess has assisted Harford County Sheriff's Office detectives assigned to the Child Advocacy Center in furtherance of child abuse investigations. Jess displays a natural talent and innate ability for gathering and analyzing evidence, interviewing witnesses, and preparing comprehensive reports. Furthermore, her contributions have directly impacted investigations, further showcasing her readiness for complex investigative work. This proactive approach to professional development underscores her eagerness to transition into a more investigative role, propelling her to a new role in the Criminal Investigations Divisions beginning on July 23, 2025. Please welcome us in congratulating Jess on her well-deserved promotion to Officer First Class and her impending transfer to the Criminal Investigations Division as the first female detective in the past 15 years. And I know she showed excellent judgment in coming back to the Bel Air Police Department.
Absolutely. Let me say a few words. Thank you, Madam Mayor, and by the way, I'm surprised none of you jokesters put a step stool up here for me. No, seriously, I'm just going to say a few words about Jess. So I've been here 3 years. Jess has been here a couple years. I've gotten to see her progress further, mature further, and quite honestly, when she walked, out of the door into the patrol car, she already acted like a seasoned veteran. I know that her sergeant's here tonight, and I remember that specifically in an eval that he wrote. She carries herself as a seasoned investigator, and that's a tribute to somebody that's just starting out. I know you had dispatch under your belt, but it's a big deal. I want to say how great of a communicator that she is. She's one of the most effective communicators. I've watched the body-worn cameras. I've seen her in action as well. And I think her ability to interact at all levels is a testament to her abilities. So that being said, Jess, I think you're one of the best at doing that. And I think that's going to be a great transition and segue for her to go to CID. Her passion lies with children and rape victims. She's done a tremendous job as a patrol officer. I know she's going to continue to do a great job, and a bright future ahead for you, my dear, I'm very sure. So I'd be remiss if I didn't thank the commissioners, Town Administrator Hopkins, for allowing us to hire such quality police officers. I mean, quite frankly, me being here 3 years, I've been around lots of different agencies in my career, and you guys are squared away, and I'm honored to serve with you as well, Jess. So I want to thank the family. It looks like you got a big showing here tonight, but thanks for sharing her with us. I know how demanding it is to not have her in your lives and how much time it takes away, but we're grateful to have her, grateful for your presence here tonight. So thank you very much, Jess. Congratulations on your well-deserved promotion and impending transfer to CID.
And of course, it wouldn't be a promotion without a certificate and a gift certificate as well. So, one gift certificate, and we also need a photo op, so if everybody could come down. All right, well, certainly, she's a terrific hire, and I think there's at least two in the BAPD that have had the dispatcher background. It seems to be a natural career path, and I think it makes them like a little bit better prepared than you would be if you didn't know anything at all, so, all right. Next, we have the public hearing on Resolution 1248-25, the Town Administrator's Fiscal Year 2026 Budget. Do I have a motion? No, I don't need a motion, but just for a public hearing. All right, Ms. Moody, if you want to give the Reader's Digest version, I guess.
I can do that. It's only a couple pages. Good evening, everyone. So this is going to be, as I mentioned earlier, I guess last week, we're going to hit the budget highlights for the general fund for fiscal year 26. We're going to start with expenditures and then roll into revenues to finish. Next slide. So total general fund expenditures for fiscal year 26 are proposed at $18,803,284, which is about $180,000 more than fiscal year 25. When you look at the pie chart, you can see that the large green area at the bottom is public safety at 39.6%, which one would expect to have the lion's share of the budget. Second, though, is Public Works with to the left, the aqua color at 27.1, and this is all 4 divisions in Public Works. And then third would be General Government, which is on the right-hand side, the blue section, at 23.5%. So General Government, think really all the other departments of the town, planning, economic development, finance, HR, town administrator, IT, et cetera. Next slide. So we're going to start with salaries and benefits. I've broken down the presentation to sections. So we're going to start with salaries and benefits first. For fiscal year 26, the total of salaries and benefits is a little over $12,700,000. The FY26 budget does include funding for a merit increase and a 2.9% cost of living. It also includes a little over $313,000 to fund an overall adjustment or change to the civilian pay scale, as well as a 1% increase to the sworn scale. The budget does propose to add a second part-time file clerk and human resources / administration. In the police department, it proposes to create a new full-time police communication officer position from 2 part-time. So we would eliminate the 2 part-time positions and create 1 full-time position. To fund the part-time records information coordinator position without grant funds, we have funded this position for the last several years with grant funds. However, with the state of Maryland with the financing issues, we just don't know if those grant dollars are going to come to fruition in fiscal year 26. So we've added it in the budget without any grant funds on the revenue side. We're also proposing to fund the lead executive officer position without grant funds. That position, since inception, has been funded for the majority. 90% of it's been funded through grant funds. We're more confident that we will obtain grant funds for this position, but again, we're not 100% certain. So it is in the budget without any grant funding. And fourth, within the police department, we're proposing to add a brand-new sworn officer position. So this would add 1 position to the already existing strength in the police department. Next slide. So salaries and benefits do represent 66.1% of the total general fund expenditures, compared to 70.2% in fiscal year 2025. Just as of note, for fiscal year 2025, we back out any ARPA funding. It's just an unusual circumstance, and it kind of skews your numbers, so we back that out, so we're comparing apples to apples. As I've mentioned in years past, this percentage, you always just want to get a good handle on, don't allow it to get out of control. And by out of control, I mean once you start to reach like the mid-70s, you just need to take a harder look at it. We're in good shape at 66.1 for fiscal year '26. From our workers' compensation standpoint, it was very good news for fiscal year '26. Our modification rate, which again is based on the claims and experience for the last 3 completed fiscal years, decreased from a premium of 1.36 to dead even at 1. So didn't quite make it to a discount, but we're making progress. A couple of years ago, we were in the high 1.7s. So this is attributable to really especially Public Works and the Police Department at making sure our safety gear is on, making sure we're doing what we need to do when we're driving a vehicle. Our risk management committee does a tremendous job at reviewing accidents, and I think that's what you see here is the result. Now, the base rates within workers' comp are set by the National Council of Compensation Insurance. So we have no control. Our experience doesn't have anything to do with those base rates. 2 of the town's specific classes did decrease. Clerical went down 86%. May sound like a big number, but that's actually a really small number because our clerical is probably our lowest class from a dollar perspective. And 2.86% a decrease in our other. So our other category will be our public works, so the guys that are out in the field. And then the sworn officer base rate did increase 18.61%. Social Security, really no change here with regard to the formula. It's 7.65% of salaries, overtime, the deferred comp match, as well as the resident rebate. Next slide. On to medical insurance, the town is proposing to continue to offer only a high deductible health plan with an HSA or a health spending account for fiscal year '26. We did receive a 1% increase in our rates from fiscal year '25, which is exceptional. That rate increase from CareFirst did start at 7.5%, but with the help from our broker, she was able to get that increase down to 1%. We are proposing to continue to pay 100% of the premiums, as well as continuing to contribute 35% of the deductible to the employee's HSA account. The town does have 2 separate defined benefit pension plans. We contribute 8.7% for civilian and 9.4% of sworn base pay only. So this is not shift differential, this is not overtime, this is not bonuses, it's strictly base pay. On to expenses in the next slide. Expenses make up about $3.2 million of the budget. So when you think expenses, obviously we just talked about the salary and benefit category. This is not capital, this is not debt, this is not our committees or our non-profits. This is kind of really everything that's left. Think about it as your operating expenses. So what I've done is I just listed here the majority of them, the ones with the high dollars. So in finance, we have 3 different types of financial audits that are almost $32,000. Our building maintenance for all of our buildings are about $136,500. Our utilities for all of our buildings, $137,000. Our gas and diesel fuel between the police department and Public Works is $154,360. Legal services is budgeted at $135,000. Marketing, both in economic development, also in the Armory with regard to certain events that happen at the Armory, as well as in public relations, is almost $50,000. From a technology standpoint, it's $382,000. Our general insurance is almost $206,000. Our red light camera program cost is $201,000. And then I just grouped all of the operating expenses in the police department are over $457,000, similar to Public Works at $965,000. And then our MS4 program is at $85,000. Next slide. Now on to capital improvements. Our capital improvements within all departments equates to $1,863,964, which is actually a decrease of $684,000. That's mainly attributable to ARPA, having ARPA in fiscal year '25, but not in fiscal year '24. So in town building, I should first mention that there are not any capital improvements within the Armory Department in fiscal year '26. So we're moving on to town buildings, $164,000 worth of capital improvements. The most significant is to replace the Parks and Rec building roof on Pennsylvania Avenue at $60,000. Removing wallpaper and paint and replacing ceiling tiles at the Public Works and Planning offices at $25,000 and $35,000 respectively. Replacing the loading dock doors and the operators at Public Works at $25,000. Replacing the Rockfield Playground Pavilion roof at $12,000, and then installing floor covering in the Public Works break room at $7,000. Next slide. Within our planning and zoning department, capital is $140,000. We're proposing to replace the director's vehicle at $50,000, which would come from capital reserve. Improvements to the Alice Ann Park. These would include a senior-focused exercise equipment cluster, a paved connection to Lester Way, a bike rack, and tables and chairs at $90,000. Within technology, just capital again, almost $107,000 to replace the IT van at $38,000. That would come from capital reserve, as well as 10 police department vehicle tough book replacements at $38,000, a server replacement at $21,120, and network replacement firewalls and wireless access points at a little over $9,800. Next slide. Still within capital improvements, within the miscellaneous department, we do have a transfer to capital reserve of $20,000. That is per policy. So if nothing else within fiscal year 2026, we would move $20,000 into the capital reserve. Within the police department, $491,000 worth of capital improvements. 3 vehicle replacements that will then be sold, and 1 new vehicle. So all of that equates to $220,000, all coming from capital reserve. This would be our second year of a lease for the real-time remote surveillance camera trailer at $35,000. 2 automated speed signs at $10,000, and the largest capital project, excluding the vehicles, the Verkada security camera system at 9 locations at about $226,000. Next slide. Within Public Works then, we'll talk within 2 departments. First, the shop. We would purchase and install new fuel pumps and the pedestals in the equipment yard at $35,000, as well as an industrial grade snap-on toolbox replacement at $35,000. Within streets and highways, a total improvement of $872,000. 6 street construction projects, which can be found on page 177 of the budget, equating to $430,000. 4 curb ramp construction projects, which again on page 178 of the budget for $50,000. 2 vehicles, a dump truck, again replacement for $265,000, which would come from capital reserve. A mini dump truck replacement for $80,000, which would also come from capital reserve. A replacement trailer for $35,000, funding from capital reserve, and then replacement of the Main Street clock at $12,000. Next slide. So moving on to debt service then. Not a lot of change here. We're not taking on any new debt. We also don't have any debt that's maturing. Getting closer, but with the rates that we're financing, it just doesn't make sense at this point. We're at 1.08 and 1.89, and we are almost to maturity on both of those. So a total of almost $610,000. As I mentioned, we have vehicle and equipment debt. Those principal and interest payments are a little over $134,000. $75,927 represents the principal and interest payments on the debt to finance the various energy savings projects related to the JCI contract. And then almost $400,000 represents principal and interest payments on the PD Town Hall renovation expansion project. That is a 30-year term at 2.673%. To the next slide, we're going to move on to community support, which shows about a $10,700 increase for fiscal year '26. I'm not going to read all those numbers for community support, but it's anything from the Bel Air Volunteer Fire Company at $180,000 to the Christmas Parade for the Bel Air Alliance at $5,500 and everything in between. So these are all of our nonprofits and our different commissions within the town. So while it's $408,000, those are hard dollars going out the door, checks that are being written. But please keep in mind that in addition to those dollars, the town does provide a large amount of in-kind community support, especially to the Alliance, Rockfield, the Independence Day Committee, and other nonprofits, but those are the three majority of the ones that we provide that in-kind. Next slide. All right, so we're going to move on to revenues, still within the general fund. Same numbers, as I mentioned, with total expenditures, because we do have a balanced budget. On the right side of the pie chart, you'll see that property taxes, again, lion's share of the revenues, which we all would expect, at 54.5%. While that's good, that's bad, because that shows that we're reliant on one source of revenue for more than half of our revenue coming into town. We don't have really any other sources of revenue that, we can, without any type of availability from the state, to be able to draw from. So think property taxes, you want to keep in mind that that's not just real, but your personal property taxes as well. Your unincorporated, like your doctors, your lawyers, your accountants. And then your incorporated would be your retails and your restaurants. Public utilities are going to be your three largest ones with BGE, Maryland American, and the third one just escapes my head. This second largest source of revenue are going to be our state share taxes. That's 19%, with the majority of that coming from income taxes. A smaller share coming from admission and amusement, and then, of course, our highway user revenues. Those highway user revenues can only be used within the street section of the Public Works Department. And it's not every line item within the street section. You can't use it for salaries, you can't use it for benefits, you can't use it to buy equipment. So the annotated code is pretty specific on what you can use highway user for. Next slide. So within property taxes, the budget is $10,254,388. We are proposing that the real property tax rate remain the same at 54 cents per $100. That 3% should say 4.3%. That's a 4.3% increase from fiscal year '25. This will be the final year of the triennial reassessment phase for real property. So everyone who lives in town limits will receive a reassessment notice next January of '26, and we'll start that 3-year cycle all over again, beginning in fiscal year '27. Our personal property tax rate, we're proposing to remain the same at $1.20 per $100 of assessed value. We do, well, within the budget is an increase in public utilities due to increasing assessments. Within our state shared at a little over $3.5 million, as I mentioned, income taxes is the largest. We're projecting to increase it, to increase 2%. We have an updated FY25 estimate at almost 2.4, so comparing the 2.4 to 2.447, that's the 2% projected increase. Our highway user, that number is provided from State Highway Administration. I don't alter that number. It is what it is. Police protection grant within the state shared. We don't receive any estimates from the state, so the $261,000 is what we were told we would get in FY25. Under license and permits at $254,000, the largest account within that is our cable TV franchise. We have a 3% franchise fee with Verizon and Comcast, and that equates to $121,000. But this number does continue to decline every single year. So that's something that we just have to keep an eye on. Next slide. Under grants at $1.5 million, the Harford County tax rebate is really the one, the most in that department at almost $1.3 million. It did increase $40,000 for fiscal year '26, and it's based on a Harford County formula. Also within grants is the Harford County Stormwater Management. It's based on an MOU that distributes county funds to assist in stormwater management obligations. It goes to all 3 jurisdictions, not just the town of Bel Air, and it's budgeted at $130,000. And then within grants, we have miscellaneous grants representing funding from various sources for the Alisan Park project that I mentioned earlier at $90,000. The next category is miscellaneous interest and fines at almost $1.4 million. Our armory rental fees continue to increase thanks to the good work from Julia at $125,000. Our red light camera fines are projected to be $637,000. Our reimbursable police and public works overtime for the various events and organizations are almost $69,000. And then our interest on investments is estimated at $420,000. That's a decline from fiscal year '25, but rates have come down slightly. The Fed has put a pause on everything right now, but we did have several the Fed rate was decreased several times last fiscal year, which makes an impact on rates. So the local government investment pool rate, which is where we keep the majority of our money, very liquid, very fluid, very safe, no fines associated with transferring money in or out, is at 4.22%. That number last year when I put the budget together was at 5.35. We do still have CDs with various banks in town. However, it's getting tougher for them to be able to match or even come close to the local government investment pool. So right now, we're holding several CDs with 14 to 25 month terms with decent rates, 4.5 to 4.85. But if memory serves me right, those CDs, all of them will come to maturity at least by the end of this calendar year. Next slide. So lastly, we're going to talk about the different transfer accounts within the general fund, the first one being a transfer from unassigned. I mentioned that $313,000 in expenditures as proposing to a one-time adjustment or change to the civilian and the sworn pay scales. This to be used from the unassigned fund balance. Transfer from capital reserve, we're proposing to use $758,000 to really fund our vehicles as well as our major equipment purchases for fiscal year '26. And then the transfer from parking and sewer funds is at $744,000. Sewer and parking funds are enterprise funds They're self-sustaining, they should stand alone. So the different salaries and benefits and overhead that would be attributable to those funds are really housed in the general fund. So if they were to stand alone, that they would have to pay their fair share of those expenses. So that is what they would have to pay, or I said they, meaning parking and sewer funds, would have to pay the general fund as a payback, essentially. And we'll go over that in detail within our budget sessions, of course. So that's all I have this evening. That concludes my presentation, but I'd certainly be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say that this evening's public hearing is an opportunity for the public to provide any input that they wish to have the commissioners hear during the early stages of the budget process, and it is still early in the budget process. But we will certainly consider input from any member of the public who is here this evening. I know I see one. Any member of the public who is watching can feel free to attend one of the remaining 4 work sessions and listen to what is going on, to watch it on YouTube, to email us, send us a letter, send us a phone call, or come in person and make a public comment during the period that's provided for that. So tonight, the town administrator's budget has been used for the purpose of conducting this hearing, but there's many more meetings to go before we have an actual final budget, so there's nothing final about this one. So, I don't know, anybody have any questions for Ms. Moody this evening? I know we'll be going over all of this in painful detail in the weeks to come.
Come on
All
now.
It's not very painful, and you make it pretty palatable. One question I had is,
Yes, ma'am.
is this slide deck going to be available online?
It is.
Okay, that's
Posted
terrific.
now.
That is terrific. So that way, anybody that might be watching and wants to go back and take a look at the numbers, including me and the rest of us, can do so. So, is there any member of the public here this evening that wishes to make a public comment? Yes, sir. I knew that's what you were here for.
My name is John Stump. I live at 523 East Broadway in Bel Air. I take this opportunity to thank you for allowing me to come and speak this evening. My respects, sir, to you and to your team. I'm here again on behalf of the welfare of the town and of the people in it. The members of the Bel Air Police Department, and I'm going to ask you, who are they? Do you know? They are people who are sworn an oath to protect you and me. They are people just like you and me. They may have families, mortgages, bills to pay, just like you and me. From the people in dispatch, to the administrative staff, to the patrol officers, and to the chief. They are all very special people who risk their lives every day to keep you and me safe. As I stated on April 17th, crime prevention isn't cheap. It has never been cheap, and it will never be cheap. And next year, it will cost even more. I asked this of you before. How much is it worth to keep you and your family safe 24/7? Please remember, criminals are always out there. Criminals who are experts at crime. 21st century criminals with a 21st century mentality. I asked you before, and I will ask you again, will you wait or will you act? It's great that we have one police officer that you're going to be hired in the budget. It's not enough. These people work tirelessly. Like I said, they have families too. Criminals are not going anywhere. And neither are we. We are all here. We are all here for each other. The police department needs more than one officer. I've been around a long time and seeing different police departments, and as a guardian angel, My job was to observe. And I can tell you, this police department is fantastic. If you've ever had a ride-along, if you haven't, I recommend you take it. Talk to these people. They are just like you and me. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for allowing me to speak. But remember, one police officer is not enough. My respects, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, under new business, we have Resolution 1250-25, the fiscal year 2026 tentative budget. May I have a motion?
Yes, Madam Chair. I move that proposed resolution number 1250-25, providing for the adoption of a tentative budget for the town of Bel Air for fiscal year 2026, be adopted by the Board Town of Commissioners.
Thank you, Commissioner Rutledge. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Chance. All right. Ms. Moody?
That's me.
I don't have
Oh,
anything else.
That's you, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. I'm thinking ahead to the fee schedule. My fault.
You don't want this one to be you, Mr. Krantz.
You're welcome to have it. I don't have anything further to add.
Okay.
This is just administrative, so we're just shifting from the town administrator's budget to a tentative budget. That all of this is laid out in the charter. No numbers have changed, okay?
Correct. And
Thank
we are
you.
just voting to sort of receive it. It is
To
not a
adopt
final
it.
thing, if anybody's
Correct.
watching, until we proceed through all of our work sessions and have a final vote sometime in the future.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Any questions for Ms. Moody from anyone? No? Any further public comment from any members of the public? No? All right. In that case.
Madam Chair, could I?
Yes, sir.
I
Absolutely.
didn't have a question. I did not have a question for Director Moody, but I did want to highlight just a couple things. We've been through a lot of information there, and that I am pleased about. I mean, this is very tentative where we are right now. I'm not making any commitments, but I'm very pleased that we're not undertaking any new debt obligations. And of course, Director Moody, if I say something wrong, don't hesitate to correct me. But and we're not raising any tax rates.
Correct.
And as you illustrated this evening so well in the slideshow, our debt service interest rates are generally less than 2%.
That's correct.
And our debt, our investment interest rates on what we gain in revenue is generally over 4%.
Yes, sir.
So I think that makes perfect sense as not to attempt to prepay or pay down any principal when you're in that delta of the advantage.
That's correct.
I just wanted to take that moment just to highlight that. Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Absolutely. And those are two very important things that I certainly did notice. We've got some pretty good interest rates, very low on our debt and exceeding that on our income. Anything else? All right.
I would just say it's a very impressive position to be, given the ship of the state. We are fording that those choppy waters very well, and so I'm very pleased with that.
The state of the ship of state makes me a bit nervous, but I know we're in a really good position to weather whatever storm might come our way, and certainly we balance our budget every year. All right. Anything else? All right, Mr. Krantz?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is for the vote to receive Resolution 1250-25, the tentative budget for next fiscal year. Commissioner Rutledge,
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor,
Aye.
Commissioner Chance,
Aye.
and Chair Edding.
Aye.
Resolution is received. Thank you.
All right. And now, Resolution 1251-25, the Town of Bel Air fee schedule amendments. May I have a motion?
Yes, Madam Chair, I move that resolution number 1251-25, amending the town's fee schedule, be received by the Board of Town Commissioners.
Thank you, Commissioner Chance. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Taylor. And now, Mr. Krantz, the moment you've been waiting for.
This is me with great anticipation. Thank you very much for making that motion. And just a little bit of background. The town's fee schedule was last amended in January 2025, and staff just has a few recommendations at this point in time. One of those recommendations is a amendment to the traffic impact analysis to change the determination of scope from currently $900 to $250, and to add the traffic impact analysis review of study at $1,000. Now, I'll pause right there if there's any questions or clarifications. We did discuss it at the work session.
Yeah, I think all my questions were answered at the work session by Mr. Small
Okay.
about exactly how this worked and why we were doing it this way, and
Okay.
I agree it's a better way to proceed.
And then at the work session, a couple suggestions were made to the document recording fees, so that language has been modified. So what the staff is recommending for you to receive this evening would be under document recording fees, the land records for Harford County government, state of Maryland, and Simply File, the town shall collect and remit all document recording fees, surcharges, or other charges as required for the recording of documents. And then the fee itself, instead of listing the actual fees, staff has recommended that we add in the description section of the fee schedule, the amount of such fees shall be established and amended from time to time by Harford County or the state of Maryland. And these fees are collected by the town as a reimbursement or a pass-through fee. So for an example of those fees, like a $40 surcharge fees for all documents is charged by Harford County. There's a $20 recording fee for any documents that are 9 pages or less. There's a $75 recording fee for documents that are 10 pages or more. There's potentially a $50 lien sheet fee for transfer of title or a deed. And there's even a $4.50 per document when it's e-recorded with Simply File that the town often incurs. So by adding these document recording fees into our fee schedule, the town would then be reimbursed, or it would be passed through when it's collected back to the county or the state or wherever these fees are charged from.
And I know we had a little discussion during our work session about that, and Ms. Thompson was not present for that, but rather than listing the fees, I thought it might be a better idea, but I did want to have your opinion on that to, reference, and that way we don't play catch up if they're changed and we don't notice it, and documents come through. I don't think it's like a whole lot of money particularly, but we're strictly collecting it because it's charged at the courthouse and we do want somebody else to pay it.
Correct. I mean, the way it's written now is fine. It's been years since they've changed those fees, but they are reimbursed to the town, because when we get stuff recorded, it can be upwards of $115 per document, depending on how many pages it is.
Right.
I don't believe it's fair to the town for the town to bear that expense when it's a development. That's their responsibility.
Yeah. My question to you was just, is this doesn't give you any legal heartburn to do it
No.
this way? Okay.
Yeah, not at all.
All right. Anyone else have any further questions about that? And is there anyone who wishes to make a public comment about the Town of Bel Air fee schedule amendments? All right, I see none, so if there's no further
Okay.
questions on the board?
Well, with that, then we will hold a public hearing on these fee schedule amendments on May 5th at Town Hall. And for this evening, for receipt of these amendments to the fee schedule, Commissioner Rutledge,
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor,
Aye.
Commissioner Chance,
Aye.
and Chair Edding.
Aye.
So Resolution 125125 is received. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next up is the sidewalk trip hazard removal contract. May I have a motion?
Yes, Madam Chair. I move that the proposal of Precision Concrete Cutting, 215 Middleborough Road, Wilmington, Delaware, to furnish all labor, materials, and equipment to remove sidewalk trip hazards in a number of locations in town for the amount of $38,589 be accepted by the Bel Air Board of Town Commissioners.
Thank you, Commissioner Taylor. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Rutledge. And who will be?
Me.
Thank you.
So Director Klein is on leave and Deputy Director Dawson is out ill. So Madam Chair, as concrete sidewalks age and are exposed to external forces, individual panels may heave or settle, creating uneven joints that pose serious tripping hazards for pedestrians. Ensuring a safe, level walking surface is critical for public safety. Our team is confident that the proposed method offers the most effective and cost-efficient solution to eliminate these hazards and restore sidewalk integrity. The town's procurement regulation permit the purchase of supplies or services from a sole source when only one provider is practical due to their exclusive method or service. Precision Concrete is the sole source provider for this project, having secured several U.S. patents for their method and equipment used to eliminate tripping hazards from concrete sidewalk panels. The funding required for this project was allocated in the FY25 streets budget. The Department of Public Works, in collaboration with Precision Concrete, has identified 426 sidewalk trip hazards along Main Street, Cortlandt Place, Leeway, and some other smaller streets in the downtown area that are ideal for this repair strategy. All repairs will be measured, inspected, and mapped using GIS integration, and they come with a 3-year guarantee from the initial repair date. This is the 9th year of a multi-year program aimed at addressing sidewalk tripping hazards throughout town. The staff recommends that the Bel Air Board of Town Commissioners approve the proposal for Precision Concrete cutting. This proposal includes providing all labor, materials, and equipment necessary to remove sidewalk trip hazards at various locations throughout the town for a total cost of $38,589.
Thank you, Mr. Hopkins. Any questions for Mr. Hopkins?
I have one question. Not sidewalks, but along Bond Street, right by the Mary Risto building, the bricks that are askew,
Yes.
will they be repairing that, or will
No.
Public Works be doing that?
We will, to the best of my knowledge, we take care of the brick repair using a different vendor. This is actually for tripping hazards involving sidewalks
Right.
that heave
Yeah,
as a result of freeze and thaw. But the bricks are entirely
different,
similar, but a different,
Yeah.
different process.
okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Any other questions for Mr. Hopkins? All right. Any member of the public wish to make a public comment on this particular piece of business? No. All right. In that case, I think we're ready, Mr. Krantz.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For the approval of the sidewalk trip hazard removal contract, Commissioner Rutledge,
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor,
Aye.
Commissioner Chance,
Aye.
and Chair Edding.
Aye.
The contract is approved. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Next, we have the reappointments to the Bel Air Board of Ethics. First, we have Mr. William Bolton. And may I have a motion?
Yes, Madam Chair. I move that the appointment of Wilbur W. Bolton to the Bel Air Board of Ethics for a term of 4 years, effective immediately, be approved by the Bel Air Board of Town Commissioners.
Thank you, Commissioner Rutledge. And do I have a second?
Second?
Thank you, Commissioner Chance. Any discussion of Mr. Bolton? I know if Commissioner Chismar was here, we'd have more comment, but
Yeah,
I've known
I do.
Bill Bolton for years,
Yeah.
and he's a terrific person to have on the board.
Yes, likewise, Counselor. We both had the pleasure of dealing with him as a fellow member of the bar, and it's I'm sure I know we're all very appreciative of his service and his excellence and his acumen and what he adds to it, and it's really it's a great personal service and personal sacrifice for an attorney of his years of experience and his weight in the community and with the bar for him to really provide this so important service to the town. So I just want to say thank you very much, Attorney Bolton.
I couldn't agree more. We're really very lucky to have him continue to serve, so I'm thrilled to see that he was willing to continue. Any other comments? All right, and is there any member of the public here who wishes to make a comment on this reappointment? All right, in that case, Mr. Krantz, we're ready for a vote.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For the appointment of Mr. Bolton to the Bel Air Board of Ethics, Commissioner Rutledge,
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor,
Aye.
Commissioner Chance,
Aye.
and Chair Edding.
Aye.
He is reappointed. Thank you.
Thank you. And next we have the reappointment to the Bel Air Board of Ethics of Teresa Rose. And may I have a motion?
Yes, Madam Chair, I move that the appointment of Teresa Rose to the Bel Air Board of Ethics for a term of 4 years, effective immediately, be approved by the Bel Air Board of Town Commissioners.
Thank you, Commissioner Chance. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Taylor. Any discussion of Ms. Rose's reappointment? All right. Any member of the public here this evening who wishes to comment on this appointment? None. All right. Mr. Krantz, we certainly appreciate Ms. Rose's gift of her time to the community and her service on the Board of Ethics, and it certainly is a very necessary and important committee to serve on. So I think we're ready for the vote.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For the appointment of Ms. Rose to the Baylor Board of Ethics, Commissioner Rutledge,
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor,
Aye.
Commissioner Chance,
Aye.
and Chair Edding.
Aye.
Ms. Rose is reappointed. Thank you.
All right. Under miscellaneous, we have the Administration Municipal Legislation Drafting Procedure. Mr. Krantz.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a little bit of background on this policy. It would be a policy that we want to bring to your attention as the town administrator is suggesting to adopt this. Mr. Hopkins, would you like me to continue, or did you want to?
No, you've actually been working with Commissioner Taylor more closely. I'd like to
Okay.
weigh in at the end, but please proceed. Thank you.
Well, just a little bit of background then, is the purpose of this policy is to establish a standardized procedure for municipal staff when actually drafting legislation to ensure that each ordinance addresses a single topic or related topics to prevent unrelated provisions from being negatively affected by referendum or other legal challenge. In essence, it shall be the policy of the town of Bel Air going forward that all proposed code amendments be drafted and presented as separate topic-focused ordinances. This procedure is intended to maintain clarity in legislative intent, facilitate public understanding and participation, and protect undisputed provisions of a potential ordinance from delay due to referendum or legal action. For the purpose of this policy, a topic is defined as a single subject or related issues within a chapter of the town code or a single property proposed for zoning reclassification, for example. So staff does recommend that this new policy, 1A.15, the municipal legislative drafting procedure, be adopted by the town administrator.
Any comments from the board? I do see that there's been the addition of a single property proposed for zoning reclassification would also meet the definition of a single subject. So we wouldn't have the problem that we had the last time with, I think, 13 properties on one piece of legislation, and then people who weren't really part of the discontent were dragged into it because it was a single piece of legislation. So I think that's a terrific improvement, and certainly I think a single topic makes it much less difficult for a commissioner who would like to vote for one part of it but not the other part of it, and when you mix them all together, what exactly do you do? So I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, certainly my goal here is to make lawmaking simpler and easier to follow for the public. This is something that we largely do currently, and my intention is to keep it that way, and that in 20 years when we have entirely new people sitting in all of these chairs, that there is still a reminder on the books that this is the best way to run government. So I appreciate Mr. Krantz for all his help in drafting this, and I think this is good for the town.
I agree. It's a nice reminder to sort of just put it out there as an actual piece of administrative policy. Any other comments? No?
Well, this
Mr.
this will be adopted as soon as Mr. Hopkins gives me the thumbs up.
I was waiting for the right moment. No, Madam Chair, we just want to thank Mr. Krantz for working on this with Commissioner Taylor. We all concurred at the time you brought it up that it was a worthwhile idea. It certainly would streamline processes later down the road. It does fall under the town administrator's policy and procedure in terms of acceptance and where it's housed. Just wanted to, like I mentioned at the work session, would like to keep it in that domain if we can. It just makes more sense to be there for us. So,
And I think everybody was in agreement with that.
yes, they were. Yes, ma'am. And just again, thank you.
It was just nice to be able to review it as the legislative bodies.
For
and that
sure.
we were all on board with what we were doing, and that we all agreed that that was the way we have been doing things. And it is just nice to have it
Right.
on the books as a reminder that
For sure.
going forward, that's the way we're going to continue to do business.
Right. Concurrence was the word I was looking for.
There we go.
Thank you.
All right. Next, we have the public announcements. And I see one big item is missing from my public announcements unless I missed it, but on Thursday, there will be an axe throwing event. Chop with a Cop at the Krabby Axe. Is it from 6 to 8? I was very disappointed at the timing because we will be in a budget meeting. So, good luck to everyone. Members of the public are invited to come out, meet the local Bel Air Police Department folks, see how they do it, tossing an axe, and all right, Chop with a Cop this Thursday at the Krabby Axe. National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day will be from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturday, April the 26th, here in Harford County. If you want to drop off expired or unused medications and help keep them out of landfills and waterways, swing by the Bel Air Police Department here at 39 North Hickory Avenue. Other locations in Bel Air are the parking lot of the Harford County Administration Building at 220 South Main Street and the Maryland State Police Bel Air Barracks at 1401 Bel Air Road. Contact the Harford County Office of Drug Control Policy at 410-638-3333 or odcp@harfordcountymd.gov for more information. The annual Caregivers Conference, hosted the Geriatric Assistance and Information Network, or GAIN, of Harford County, will take place Saturday, April 26th from 8 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. in the McFall Activity Center, located at 525 West McPhail Road in Bel Air. Look for representatives of the town's Committee for Seniors and Citizens in Need, who will be at the conference giving out copies of the committee's senior survey. To register for the conference, visit harfordgain.com/caregivers-conference or call 1-800-515-0044. Admission is free and breakfast will be provided. The Bel Air Community Band will hold their spring concert on Sunday, May the 4th at Bel Air High School. The concert starts at 3 p.m. and admission is free. The public can also look forward to community band performances during the town's Community Memorial Day observance in Shamrock Park on Monday, May the 26th. Plus, they will kick off the Town of Bel Air's 2025 Summer Concert Series on Sunday, June the 1st, also in Shamrock Park. Make 'em Laugh, a musical lecture series, begins Tuesday, May the 6th in the Bel Air Armory. The two-part lecture series, led by Julie Kurzava, covers how famed American composers such as George Gershwin, Cole Porter, and Stephen Sondheim have kept audiences entertained using humor over the decades. The lectures run from 9:45 a.m. to noon on May the 6th and Tuesday, May 13th. Doors open at 9:30 a.m. Admission is free, but space must be reserved. Visit belairarmory.org for more information and to reserve your seat. The Icons exhibit, which celebrates how icons influence the lives and work of artists, opens on Wednesday, May the 7th at the Harford Artist Gallery in Armory Marketplace. The exhibit runs through July the 12th with an opening reception on May the 17th. Gallery is open from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Wednesday through Friday and from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Saturday and Sunday. Visit artinhartford.org or call 410-420-9499 for more information. The Town of Bel Air's annual Garden Mart will be Friday, May the 9th from 8:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. in the Bel Air Armory. Come shop for annuals, perennials, native plants, and even baked goods. Visitors can get tips from Harford County Master Gardeners as well as representatives of garden clubs from throughout Harford County. Learn about land preservation from the Harford Land Trust and see library materials provided by representatives of the Bel Air and the Edgewood Library branches. Admission is free, and many thanks to the volunteer members of the town's Appearance and Beautification Committee for their sponsorship for this event. Budget work sessions with the Board of Town Commissioners continue Thursday, April 24th, and Tuesday, April 29th, both at 4:30 p.m. here in Town Hall. The meetings are open to the public, and they can be viewed live on the Town of Bel Air, Maryland YouTube channel. Additional work sessions, plus a second public hearing on the budget, are slated for May. The Committee for Seniors and Citizens in Need will meet on Wednesday, April the 23rd at 8:30 a.m. in the Bel Air Police Department Community Room. Please be on the lookout for the committee's senior survey, slated to be released in print and online later this month, as members seek to gather data about Bel Air's senior population and how to make the town more livable for older adults. The Historic Preservation Commission will meet Thursday, April the 24th at 6 p.m. in the Police Community Room. The Planning Commission will meet on Thursday, May the 1st at 6 p.m. in Town Hall. And the Board of Town Commissioners' next town meeting will be Monday, May the 5th at 7 p.m. here in Town Hall. And our next budget meeting will be Thursday, April 24th at 4:30 p.m. here in Town Hall. if you care to come. Did I miss anything? No? All right. Is there anyone here who wishes to make a public comment about anything, whether it was on this evening's agenda or not? All right. Nobody here for public comment. All right. Commissioners' comments.
In reference to the activity at the Bel Air Community Center, I know I'm using the wrong name for that, but the Committee for our Seniors and Citizens in Need is definitely working hard on having put together a survey to really assess some needs that are going unmet for seniors. And so it would be a wonderful thing to have a number of people fill out these surveys, and they will be available online as well. But they have worked very hard to really concentrate on our elderly community and make it a more livable community and a safer community.
I think asking people what they need and want is just a terrific idea. Just go
Yeah.
directly to the population that you're
Yeah.
interested in serving and ask them. So I think that's a terrific step in the right direction. And I commend the committee for doing that and taking care of doing the survey.
They worked very hard on it, very hard.
I have two comments, Madam Chair. The first, I've already sent an email out to interested parties, but just for the public, in case you were on the edge of your seat, as we all were 2 weeks ago when the General Assembly passed the municipal election bill that is slated to be signed tomorrow by the governor. It will go into effect immediately because it is an emergency piece of legislation, and thankfully the town of Bel Air will be rather unscathed by that. Some of our sister cities did not get off so lucky. I know that Havre de Grace has had to seriously adapt because their election is, of course, the first week of May, so that's coming right up. So we wish them the best in conducting that election in a challenging environment. I also wanted to report last Thursday, the town of Bel Air was represented by the mayor and I at the quarterly meeting of the Hartford Cecil MML chapter. And I'm very happy to report that I nominated Mayor Paula Edding for the position of vice president, and unanimously, Paula is now the vice president-elect of the Hartford Cecil chapter of MML. So we thank her for her service, not just to the town of Bel Air, but to the surrounding region.
I think we have a duty to sort of step up and help out on MML, so I'm happy to serve. Any other commissioners' comments?
Yes, I
There
do.
you go.
So, well, that's fantastic, Mayor Edding, for you to step up and do that. So I did just want to make a comment, that even though we're in budget season looking at this budget, what I'd like to just to throw out there to try to get on the agenda for our May 5th town hall meeting on the agenda is to really move forward in an open discussion and talk about some type of perhaps I'm not sure what the procedure is, to talk about what kind of money that we could commit as a donation to Rockfield so the town can have its name, associated with the donations that were recently solicited. And I'm not sure how that process works. I know we haven't had a public meeting where the commissioners weighed in. There was solicitation of opinions on the topic, and I just want to make sure that if there's some backfill we need to do on a budget amendment. I know just the town commissioner's budget, I didn't spend anything at all. I didn't travel anywhere. I didn't ask for reimbursement for any food. I didn't go to MML summer conference and stuff. I'm thinking, I don't know where we are in that process. It's not on tonight's agenda, but I thought I'd bring it up as my comment that I would be in favor of that type of approach rather than try to somehow make a donation now that gets interplayed in the budget we're considering passing. And so I'm a newbie on that kind of thing, but I did have, I think Commissioner Chance and I had an opportunity to chat about that concept as well, and I think that she, like myself, didn't spend much out of the commissioner's budget this past year either. So,
You must have been reading minds, because Commissioner Chance has been very persuasive in, I think that everybody is probably on board. I can't speak for Commissioner Chismar, but I think he would probably be in agreement as well, that we would like to give some money to Rockfield, and that's exactly where we were thinking of looking, was our budget for this year, because I don't think we spent it all.
great, yeah, because we didn't discuss that, so, you know, there you go.
There you
It's,
go.
meant to
thing.
be.
Meant to be, so we can put that on an agenda for an official something. You don't need an official anything? All
I
right.
can speak to that if
Okay,
if-
there you
if
go.
if you don't
That's
mind. So the town administrator sent me an email this morning that there were 4 out of the 5 commissioners. We could move forward with the contribution. Not that the 5th was against it, he just had heard from the majority of the board. So I told him I did not need anything from anybody. I have the application, I've already forwarded it to my accounts payable accountant to cut a check this
There you
week. Rockfield's already been notified by the
Great.
town administrator. Honestly, I don't know where the money's coming from, but I'm not worried about it.
Gotcha. Well, we
So I got
didn't
it
want you to
covered.
worry, so we were
I
thinking, and we thought.
appreciate that.
We
I
were pretty sure
do.
we hadn't spent all the money in
I-
our section of the
I-
budget,
I-
so
I
if you were
do
looking for a
appreciate-
place for nickels, that would be a place to look.
That'll
But,
save me
it's-
from
It's
looking.
amusing that we all thought the same
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, no worries, it's already in the
All right.
works, no need
There
to
you go.
discuss it
Look how
at a future
efficient
meeting.
town government is. It's already done. All right. Anything else?
Madam Chair.
Yes, sir.
So through the wonders of technology.
Through the
and a
wonders
dedic-
of technology.
And a dedicated director of DPW who is texting me from the ski slopes, clearly watching YouTube from wherever he is.
I hope in front of a fire with maybe,
2 fingers of bourbon, maybe. I'm a little jealous. But Commissioner Chance, in answer to your question, we have already started preparing an estimate. Steve and I had talked about the bricks and the ribbons. They're called ribbons. We've been discussing this for some time about responsibility, SHA, trying to divvy up all that. Steve advised that we have already started preparing the estimate for the cost. We have measured the bricks, needed to be replaced, and now we're working on a cost estimate for the total repair of the job. We're also planning some replacement landscaping along Bond Street as well, and which Director Small will be working with us in that endeavor. So we are putting this together for a grant proposal to replace those bricks. We just don't have all the Ts crossed and the Is dotted right yet, but we will soon.
Great,
Very
thank
much
you.
on our radar.
Thank you
Well,
for that.
I tell you what, this has been a banner night for the efficiency of local government.
Between our down-to-the-wire information from the legislature the last time, and now, Mr. Klein dutifully watching our YouTube video, it's pretty amazing. Very efficient, I have to say.
I have one other thing, and I wanted to say thank you so much that the boards went up on the old dry cleaner building on Bond Street. That was a relief to see that. I'll be happier when we don't have to see it at all, but at least that's been done. It was truly a safety hazard, truly.
So I did speak to the McComas family. Actually, we exchanged emails and texts on Saturday. I saw the building damage, but at the same time that I believe I got the email from Chair Edding. They responded very promptly that they would be addressed either this weekend or next weekend, and I was very happy to see Easter Sunday morning, contractors out putting the boards up on the building. So the demolition process is moving along, sadly at a snail's pace, but in fairness to the McComas family, they are not a development company. They have EPA remediations there, and it's a very slow process for them, so that they make sure that they follow the process, that they can financially afford to move. But they are moving. That's the key thing, and they have met with us. They're very much interested, as I think I may have reported at the work session, about how they can move this process forward. They met with Director Small and I. They had a great conversation. Kevin provided them direction and advice on how to move forward, what some of the rules and regulations are regarding the process, and what they needed to do to accomplish this in an expedient manner. They were very appreciative and receptive of the advice and guidance, and I think we'll see movement. It just may take, it's a slow process. And they're a family who self-admitted that they're not familiar with the process, and they've spent thousands of dollars in remediation for the property, and they're just trying to pinch their pennies as they're moving forward, yet do something good that the town wants done. And I was extremely pleased at the response on the request to have the windows boarded up.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and I appreciate that you all were able to meet with them and discuss the issues, and I was thrilled Sunday morning when I drove by. Yeah, it was great.
I was likewise, very thankful that the McComas family addressed that. And I was even more surprised that the photographs were like Friday evening, on Good Friday and Easter Sunday morning, there was somebody out there taking care of it. So we much appreciate that. All right. Any further comments? In that case, may I have a motion to adjourn?
Yes, Madam Chair, I move that we adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.